Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this beautiful day. Our speaker today, Swami Ishadhyanananda, is our guest at the center for the next 2 weeks, and we are delighted to welcome him once more. The Swami has been an assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Sacramento since August 2017. Before coming to America, the Swami served the order as the treasurer of the Jamshedpur branch of the Ramakrishna Mission from September 2013 to June 2017. Prior to that, he was posted at the Belur Math Headquarters Office from March 2008 to September 2013. The Swami joined the Ramakrishna Order in 2002. He was initiated by Swami Ishadhyanananda, the 15th president of the Ramakrishna Order, and received his final monastic vows from his guru in 2012. Before joining the order, during his college and university days, Swamiji remained in close contact with the monks of the Ramakrishna Order. Throughout his monastic life, Swamiji has contributed articles to various journals of the Ramakrishna Order. Beyond his devotion to Ramakrishna-Vedanta literature, he harbors a passionate interest in philosophy, positive psychology, neuroscience, and contemporary ideas shaping our world today. He finds particular fascination in topics that bridge ancient wisdom with modern understanding, which is a reflection of his commitment to exploring the intersections of tradition and progress. The subject of his talk today is Be the Hero of Your Journey. There will be a Q&A session after the talk, and Swamiji will also be at the back to greet you at the end of it all. Swamiji, welcome again. We're so happy to have you.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahe Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the all-pervading Spirit protect us. May the all-pervading Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be fruitful. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. Good morning and namaste. Happy to be back. So let me start with a question. Who does not like to hear a story? Nobody. It tells our fascination with stories. We love stories. That's why so many movies, fictions, web series, they're churning again and again. And we are all consumers of stories. We love stories. Why do we love stories? There is a branch of psychology called evolutionary psychology. They say that human beings have spent thousands of years telling stories by the fire. Sitting by fire, we have told stories to each other. We have told stories to convey information. Today's happenings, don't go there, there is a tiger. There is a good source of water there. That's how we started telling stories to each other. That is, we started providing information in the form of stories. Stories also help us to live the world in simulation as a pilot does much of his practice in flight simulation, so stories help us to get a sense of the world, not actually living it. But through the stories, we learn many things, what we can do, what we should not do. These are the reasons. Another reason we love stories is through stories, we come to know about people around us, who is doing what, which is gossip. We like that. So these are the evolutionary reasons we love stories. Some stories are good, exciting, great. Some stories are boring. They put me into sleep. Although sometimes the same events, same information are conveyed by stories, it matters how the story is being told. How the story is told matters. And how the story is told is called narrative. Narrative. We see this now and then when we see that a movie which had a wonderful plot, but the director could not do justice to the story. Is not it? We feel there was a good story. The plot was good, but the treatment was not good. There was no clear narrative in the story. There was no highlights. So same events, same information, same characters, how we highlight them, how we minimize them, that makes narrative. Narrative. That is the difference between story and narrative. But some of the stories, like Ramayana, Odyssey, Iliad, they have a characteristic feature that they inspire us throughout ages. They are timeless. Not only that, they capture attention of people from other culture. That is, a story which originated in one culture inspires people from other culture too. So they have a timeless and spaceless appeal to all of us. Why is it so? Why some stories become eternal and appeals cross boundary to all types of people? That was the question of Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell from New York, who was associated with Ramakrishna-Vedanta Center, not this Vedanta Society, the Vedanta Center which is across the Central Park. He was attracted to Vedanta, came to Swami Nikhilananda, the then Swami of that center, got initiated. His lifelong fascination was mythology. He was a professor of Sarah Lawrence College, only 20 minutes drive from here. And that was his fascination, that what is so great about these stories? Is there a common format in them, a template, a narrative which appeals to all? That was the subject of his book called A Hero with 1,000 Faces. He wrote it in 1949. Incidentally, he wrote another book which is not known so much, Brahman and Bakshish. That is his unpublished diary of his visit to India. It's a wonderful book, great insights about India. Anyway, so he wrote that book and he found that in all of these stories, timeless stories, there are 17 elements. 17 elements. Whether it is Ramayana, Mahabharata, Iliad, Odyssey, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Matrix, even Barbie, all of them have one common narrative, a common template, and he broke it down to 17 elements. He did not coin the term hero's journey, but it was later ascribed. This grand narrative is like a hero's journey, which has 17 elements in them. And in fact, George Lucas said he could not make Star Wars if he would not have read this Hero with 1,000 Faces. These 17 elements can be found in these grand narratives, the hero's journey narrative. But that is for superheroes. What about us? What about us? That was the question that some psychologists from America, from Boston University and North Carolina University, 2 professors from North Carolina University and 1 from Boston University, they wanted to explore the connection between hero's journey and our day-to-day life. What they did is they wanted to simplify the narrative of Joseph Campbell and condense it. Some of the elements of Joseph Campbell's narrative were very specific and some were outdated. For example, one of the elements in Joseph's 17 elements was meeting the goddess. Then, women as temptation. These were very specific at that time, which cannot be applied to our modern day life. Okay, so what they did, they simplified the story, keeping the essence of the story. They wanted to simplify it, condense it, which can be universal, which we can apply in our day-to-day life. They condensed the 17 elements into 7 elements. One, first, there should be a protagonist, a character, who is taking the journey. Number 2, a shift of circumstances. The person moves to some other place, meets somebody, reads some books, and there is a shift in circumstances that propel the protagonist for a quest, a journey, a goal. They want to achieve something. They want to reach somewhere. That is quest. In that quest, the person makes some friends or mentors. They are called allies. Allies. Fifth, there will be a challenge or challenges, internal or external, which the protagonist may find insurmountable sometimes. But while going through the challenges, the protagonist undergoes personal transformation, a moral change, they grow morally, they may become more wise while meeting the challenges. They become a better version of them while meeting the challenges, transformation. Then finally, that person leaves a legacy for others. That is, they help others with the wisdom they have gained in their journey. So these 7 elements, to give an example, first with Harry Potter. Okay, Harry Potter, the protagonist, he lives in a cupboard, and also sometimes bullied by his cousins, the Dursleys, right? Then there's a shift of circumstances. What is that? He goes to Hogwarts, the college. Then in that college, he gets a quest. What is the quest? Get the Philosopher's Stone. That is the quest. In that quest, Harry Potter makes some allies. Ron, Hermione, mentor like Professor Dumbledore. But he faces challenge. Challenge like the Philosopher's Stone is behind the trap door. And if he opens the trap door, there is darkness, and there is no steps. Harry Potter does not know what to do. So, in that fear, he conquers his inner fear, undergoes transformation. He finds that it was all his inner fear of the darkness. So, he grows, he overcomes his inner fear. He becomes transformed. He becomes wiser. Then legacy. He goes back where he was and no more is afraid of the bullies of his cousins. All the 7 elements. In our modern day, let's take the example of a young lady called Lisa, who is from New York. For work, she goes to San Francisco. I have bias for San Francisco. I am from Sacramento, so I have bias for San Francisco. So Lisa goes to San Francisco for work. There she comes up with an idea with a startup. She has some idea with which she can make a new startup. Okay? And she meets some friends, other techies who helps us, mentor who says, yes, that's a great idea. That's a great quest for you. You can make it. But she faces challenges that she cannot find investor. That's a challenge. She cannot pitch well her ideas. It's a challenge. Then she finds that the problem was that she could not communicate well her ideas. She could not pitch well. She learns how to pitch her ideas, communicate well, then overcomes the challenge of funds, and she leaves a legacy. She then helps others to learn how to pitch their ideas to the investor. So the idea is all these 7 elements can be applied to all the superheroes as well as anyone amongst us. So then these psychologists, they made a scale, developed a scale called Hero's Journey Scale. Hero's Journey Scale. That is, in someone's life, as many elements of this hero's journey is present, that much higher score they have in hero's journey scale. Okay. So objectively, one can say that in hero's journey scale, I have 5 points, 6, 3, 4. That is, I see my life as a hero's journey. I see in my life these many elements. That much score I have. That was the first step of this study. Second, they wanted to see, is there any connection between how we tell our stories and how much meaning we have in our life? What they did a great study among 1,200 participants of America, offline as well as online. And they were representative of the entire America. That is in terms of race, gender identity, religion, all of them. These 1,200 participants were representative of the entire America. So what they did, they tested them in 3 scales, not the hero's journey scale. Other 3 tests. One is their sense of meaning in life. This is an established scale in psychology. Through some questionnaire, you can find out how much meaning someone has, or how much meaning they think they have in their life. In 3 domains. Meaning in life can be further broken down into 3 domains. One is whether I have a purpose in life, whether I have some goal in my life. Second, significance. Do I think my life has any significance, even a tiny significance to the world? Do I matter? Significance. Third, making sense of the world. Do I see there is a pattern in the world, or do I see that world is random? All these things, 3 things, are measured by this questionnaire, that is, meaning of life questionnaire. So they gave these participants this questionnaire. Then they also tested them in flourishing scale, that is, how much life satisfaction we have in our life. That also they tested. Finally, they tested their level of depression. All these tests are validated tests. There's no doubt about this test, very standard tools. they tested all the 12 participants in these 3 questionnaires, 3 scales. Then they told the participants, take some time. Look back at your life. And if you need, you can write down the main events of your life. Okay. And now, record your life story in under 5 minutes. Tell your life story in under 5 minutes. So all these participants recorded their life stories. Then they transcribed the audio tapes and employed some volunteers who were trained to spot the elements of hero's journey in their life story. Okay. How many elements of the 7 elements are present in their life stories? And they, to counteract bias and subjective biases, each life story was read by more than one volunteer, 2 or more, so that they could get an average. So they rated the life stories in accordance with the hero's journey scale. They wanted to see, is there a connection between the score in hero's journey scale and the other 3 scores? And they were surprised. They found that those who scored high in their hero's journey scale, who saw their life as a hero's journey without even knowing the term hero's journey, but these elements were present, they had high sense of meaning about their life. They had greater satisfaction about their life, and their level of depression was low. So they concluded that people who see their life as hero's journey are having much more meaningful life. They have a clear sense of who they are. What their goal is clear and strong. They have friends who help them. And they very often challenge themselves for newer goals, new quests. That is a wonderful connection. So it matters how we tell our life stories. Not only how we tell our life stories, but what we tell ourselves about our life stories. It may be different. I may see my life in another one way. I may tell others in another way. But they to adjust for this error, they also double-checked how they see their life, not only how they tell their lives as. And they found that it is very much related. How we tell ourselves about our life and how we tell our life stories to others. Great when we see our life as a journey, as a meaningful journey. Now the question is, all right, some people are very fortunate. They see their life as a hero's journey. They have meaning in their life. They have higher life satisfaction, low level of depression. But what about us? What about others who don't see their life as hero's journey? What can be done about that? That was their third study. Whether people can be taught to see their life as a hero's journey. Another study involving 700 participants. What they did, these other 700 participants, not those 1200. Okay. Here, they prompted them. There were 2 groups. One is intervention group, another is control group. To the intervention group, they were prompted questions like, what makes you you? What is your identity? What's your personality? What are your core values? Think of that. And number 2, all the elements, to find all the elements without letting them know. Okay. So, very cleverly letting them discover the elements in their daily life. Second question was about the shift of circumstances, that whether there was any shift of circumstances or settings or any novel experience that prompted you to the journey which has made you the you. Number third, was there any overarching goal in your life in pursuit of which you have become what you are today? Fourth, was there anybody else to help you in your journey? Did you get any mentorship, any friend, anyone to help you find your allies? What are the challenges you have found so far in your life? Maybe internal challenges or external challenges. Fifth, while meeting these challenges, how you have grown, what transformation you have gone through. Can you find them out? And finally, your journey, does it leave a legacy? Does it help? Has it helped anyone else, even to a only tiny number of people in any way? When they were prompted like this, they could find those elements. And then they were asked, now, based upon these elements, you weave all these elements into a coherent narrative about your life's journey. So not only finding the 7 elements, but weave them together to make a comprehensive narrative about your life's journey. Then they found, when they were prompted like this, all the people could find that they had most of the elements in their life. And they could then tell their life story in the pattern of a hero's journey. Hero's journey. And then they tested these people against the control group. And they found who could be prompted to find the elements of hero's journey in their life, and later on who could write their life story, tell their life story in the pattern of a hero's journey. They scored high in meaning in life. They had found more satisfaction from their life. Just one single intervention. Third, they became more resilient. Even many weeks later, they started seeing obstacles as challenges. Not problems, but challenges. Not only that, they started seeing pattern even in random things. In random strings in computer, random letters, there was no pattern, but they could find a pattern in them. So they concluded that every one of us can see our life. Every one of us can frame our life in the pattern of hero's journey. What we need to do is to have a clear sense of what we are, what we are looking for, who are our friends, and what goal we are pursuing in our life. And the conclusion was this, that we may not be superheroes, we may not save the world from great challenges, but at least we can become hero in the context of our own life. All of us can become hero in the context of our own life. That will make a compelling story. Compelling story. Is not it great finding? Just like a flip of a switch, we suddenly start seeing our life in a new light. A new light. It becomes meaningful. Challenges, obstacles become challenge. Now you may be thinking, okay, Swami, so far what you have told is all about psychology. What is the connection with spiritual life? Is not it? It is you are talking about findings of psychology and what is the relationship with our spiritual life, our spiritual journey. In fact, when I first read this article in Scientific American in January issue, the moment I started reading it, I thought it has great implication in spiritual life. Spiritual life, all of us are in a spiritual journey, in a quest. And we have friends, mentors, challenges. Then some challenges seems insurmountable. And we take to spiritual life with great earnest. At the beginning we have enthusiasm. Slowly the enthusiasm fades away and we don't find any more meaning in spiritual quest. So how we can apply these findings to our own spiritual life? To do that, we have to find as many elements of hero's journey in our own spiritual life, in our own spiritual journey. First, protagonist. Who is taking the journey? Me. And so, what is my identity? My identity is that I am a spiritual aspirant. I am a sadhaka. That should be kept in the front. That should be kept at the front of who we are. That should be a priority. We might have many identities. In office we have one identity. In home we have another identity. But the identity that we are a spiritual aspirant, that we are sadhaka, that should be in front of us to succeed in spiritual life. That we are ultimately sadhaka, that we should not forget at any cost. And what are my spiritual values? We have to remind us often. What are my spiritual values? There are many spiritual values. Among them, which resonate most for me, which are closest to my heart, remind me again and again, so that we reinforce our identity as sadhaka. That is the first one. Then make allies, spiritual friends, mentors, who help us, who remind us about our spiritual goal. And find out ruthlessly the challenges which are keeping us away from our spiritual goal. Find them out. What are the challenges? In spiritual life, the challenges are not external. All the challenges are internal. So my take is, make every challenge as a quest. Thomas A. Kempis, who wrote The Imitation of Christ, he said that we spiritual aspirants, we try to improve all the virtues at a time. It does not work. Rather, how nice it would have been if we take up one value each year and focus on that. For example, I am unable to sit the amount of time for meditation I want to. Let this be a challenge. For the time being, let this be the quest. One of the findings of that previous study I forgot to mention is that one can have multiple journeys. It is not one and done. Each of one can have multiple spiritual journeys. In each of the journeys, we are the heroes. So, our main spiritual goal can be also broken down into smaller chunks. Each of them could be a quest. In that quest, we can find helps from others, can inspiration from others. And when we overcome them, we get transformed. We get transformed while overcoming the challenge. We become better version of ourselves. Last month, our past president, Swami Ishadhyanananda passed away. He was asked by a younger monk, what has kept you going throughout your spiritual life? He had led a spiritual life for 7 decades. So what has kept you going? He said this, look, all the elements are present. He said, from the very beginning till now, I have a clear sense of what the goal is. I have clarity about the path that I have to take. At the same time, I knew my physical and mental limitations. So I knew the goal, I knew the path, but I knew that I have to walk the path in my own pace. But never I was impatient about reaching the goal. At the same time, I never lost sight of the need of steadiness of my pace to reach my goal. That is what all of us need. So I believe if we can start at the very beginning, thinking about ourselves, keeping our spiritual identity, that is, that we are spiritual aspirant, we seriously want to reach our spiritual goal. This identity should be kept in front of us and remind us about our spiritual values. And spiritual goals are usually very abstract goals. We don't get a feedback, day-to-day feedback, how much we are progressing. So we can even break down that goals, take each goal as a challenge. By that way, we transform ourselves. And we may not reach the highest goal, but we grow. We grow for sure. For sure. That is the promise. I believe this idea will help you. I love to share with you that this study came in the January Scientific American issue, and which was the abridged version of the main study or main paper. Main paper was 84-page paper. So I read both of them and presented the essence of it to you with the hope that it will help all of us in our spiritual journey. Okay. I will conclude by saying Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Then we'll be happy to answer your questions. Let's do it together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Krishna Arpanamastu. Om, peace, 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 peace be unto all. It rather ended quickly, right? Well, I'll be happy to answer your questions, please, if you have. Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. But I think we should wait for the microphone.
I agree. Okay, Pranam Maharaj. My name is Ucha. I'm actually
I have Dikha from Swami Ishadhyanananda in Toronto. My question for you is, you mentioned that people have like different identities, you know? You have a spiritual identity, maybe one in your family, with your friends. So I guess, what is your advice for people that might feel like maybe the challenges that they're overcoming may be conflicting? Or you talked about this prioritization of the spiritual identity. Can you maybe dive deeper into how one can do that if they're feeling maybe conflicted in these roles?
True. It's indeed a challenge. Sometimes identities conflict, but at least at the time of your spiritual practice, when you are doing, say, morning or evening meditation. So before starting your main meditation or main spiritual practice, whatever you have, take some time to forget all other identities. At that moment, you focus on that identity. That helps. And if we can do that at the time of spiritual practices, the effect also continues beyond the spiritual practice. Okay. I think that can help. Yes.
Pranam Maharaj. My name is Dibbajyoti and I have traveled from India. I got initiated by Swami Bimalatmananda Ji Maharaj, who recently became the Vice President of the Ramakrishna Order. So, I mean, great narrative. Thank you for the talk. I mean, I think this process of being in a journey, hero's journey, is, I mean, this is something new, and I mean, has really been an eye-opener for me, this talk. One question which I wanted to ask is like the quest, right? And you have mentioned about this multiple quest, because in life there is not one challenge, but there are these multiple challenges. One thing is like, it's probably a little bit more of a different question. Like, it is very easy to lose hope, or like, I mean, since there are multiple quests, and one thing they do not show is in probably in movies is like you lose hope in the middle, or like, since there are multiple challenges that occur, it is I mean, keeping on moving on after quest after quest. So what would be your thought? I mean, I feel there is that element also to a story, like maybe losing hope in that case. What would be your answer or solution to that? I mean, how to keep going on, I mean, for multiple quests?
Multiple quests. So losing hope can be itself a challenge in the quest. You know, if you think about the 7 elements, one of them is challenge. Losing hope itself can be a challenge. So you have to figure out how I can overcome this challenge called losing hope. So by overcoming that challenge, that is losing hope, you will grow spiritually. Okay. And it will depend entirely upon your context of life.
Thank you.
I'm going to hedge my question by saying it's a little unbaked, but it's the idea of a story, right? Going on a challenge to achieve something, that feels a little counterintuitive to Advaita. If the goal is with you, then going on a journey to achieve the achievement part of it feels a little counterintuitive.
I knew this question will be coming. Good. Well, in non-dual Vedanta, the goal is to realize Aham Brahmasmi. I am that, right? So, are we feeling that right now? It is in the intellectual level, right? So, until it becomes a reality, no more at the intellect level, but we feel I am vast. I don't have to remind myself I am vast, but I really feel, and my actions, behaviors conform to this feeling that I am vast, I am not limited. That means till we have that, it is still a quest. So that's the challenge. That's the quest, that's the challenge. How to make something which is at the intellectual level, which they call paraksha jnana, to make it aparaksha, direct. When I don't have to remind me, or when I don't have to intellectualize that I am that, when I feel I am that. Until we have done that, it is a challenge. It's a challenge. Okay. The practice sometimes is said that you think that you are already that, right? So this is the practice. I am already that. And to be established in that practice, to be established in the truth is the goal. That is, till there is something to strive for. Is not it? Yes, here is one question.
Sorry, I have the microphone
Yeah,
and all.
before that, yes.
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes.
My name is Shri. So to view one's life through this lens of the hero's journey without a sense, say, of spirituality, does one not run the risk of giving rise to narcissism and ego and being further bound?
No, it does not. You try it, it won't help. It won't occur. We are just hypothesizing that it might make us narcissist. It won't. Rather, they become more humble. When they see the challenges and so much challenges to overcome, there is a quest, they really, while overcoming the challenges, people become humble. And they become wiser and more unselfish. It won't make them narcissist. If you ask a narcissist person to tell their life story, you won't see all the elements. You will not see the element called allies who helped me, friends. They will always be me. Okay, so this element will be missing in their life. Yeah.
Pranam.
Alexa, yes.
Good morning, Swami Isha. It's nice to see you here
Thank
in New
you.
York City. We know each other from the Vedanta Society in Sacramento. Thank you so much for your talk. The last two questions relate to I actually have a comment rather than a question, but I think that when you were speaking about how we are all on the hero's journey, I was thinking that a part of that then that maybe resolves some of these issues around ego and also Advaita Vedanta is that we're all on the same journey, right? And maybe that realization to the oneness of us all as a hero, and Joseph Campbell's book, the title even, right, One Hero with 1,000 Faces, I think speaks to that. And so that as a spiritual practice, not only of being on your journey and framing your life in terms of the hero's journey, but being able to see the oneness of ourselves as a kind of collective hero, I thought was a really nice takeaway from your talk as well.
Yes, good take.
Thank you.
Good take. Thanks for even opening my eyes. Yes, here is one young lady.
Hello, Swamiji. So I have a follow-up question based on your response to the last gentleman's question, understanding this in the context of non-duality, abiding in the self with a capital S, so to speak. When that switch is flipped, that we're...
When it happens, nobody knows.
So...
Yeah. Nobody knows when the switch will be flipped. Okay.
If and when that switch is flipped, may I just check my understanding, maybe with some analogies that came up in my head? Will it then feel like driving while talking, or eating while watching TV, or reading while listening to music? Does that make sense? Abiding in the self while all that is happening.
True. That is the goal.
Okay.
That is the goal. When doing everything at the same time, abiding in the truth. That is the goal. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Namaskar, Swamiji. My name is Anup Lahiri, and thanks for today's talk. And when I was listening to your talk, I thought that it reminds me of ladder and snake, the Ludo game in India. Most of Indians will know that. I think we all have started our journey in ladders, but ladders are small, and the snakes are big, and they take you down all the way. So how to keep off the snakes from biting our heel? Because we can see the snakes, we know the snakes are there, but then we get too relaxed on our journey and forget the snake is right behind us and take us down.
Keep the identity that I am a sadhak, I want to reach the goal. Keep that in front. That will help us to keep the snake away.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, just a follow-up question to that. I guess my understanding is, at least in Hinduism, there is a recognition of maybe, or not even Hinduism, multiple cultures, nazar or bad energy, however you want to say. And there is an aspect of that, from my interpretation, it just exists. It's its nature, as there is kind of good nature in the concept of duality. So follow up to the question of the snakes is, yes, keep the identity, but is there any other way to maybe stay clear of this other nature that
Yes.
exists?
So I was trying to avoid quoting scripture, but you are forcing me. So Acharya Shankara says that the most important virtue for a spiritual aspirant is to be alert. Alert, apramatta. Okay. So apramatta means always being alert. That what I am looking for, what I am into. If we are alert all the time, then the chance of missteps or snakes biting us, we can avoid to a great extent. I just wanted to, in another way I said that keeping our identity that we are spiritual aspirants strong in front of us, reminding us every day, will also do the same thing. Being alert about, those pitfalls.
Namaskaram, Swamiji. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is my first time in Vedanta Society. All I've learned was from YouTube, Swami Sarvapriyananda, or reading the books of Vivekananda. When you were talking about hero's journey, every character in Ramayana is hero's journey. Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Hanuman, if I want to say who's exactly like Swami Vivekananda is to me. But even Jatayu or even the vulture was also had its own hero's journey because they were only following the path of dharma or karma. Karma yoga, dharma yoga, whatever, I'm sorry. Just to say that do we have to find the challenges, or the challenges just come to us? Opportunities come where we can reveal ourselves to be the hero instead of searching for opportunities, even in spiritual enlightenment. I am not looking for enlightenment as people are or whatever, because I don't know how it comes. Read the books, read Gnana, read Aham Brahmasmi, read Tattvamasi, read different religions, but the question is to say that should we go searching for it or dig deeper holes because now we want to find the truth of ultimate reality, or just continue doing whatever you're doing and then life puts the circumstances or puts you in that fire hole and then you have to dance to its rhythms.
Yeah, challenges will come. Challenges can be, as I said, external or internal. Okay. So you have to overcome the challenges, and by that process we get transformed. We grow spiritually and also morally. Challenges will be there. Yeah.
Everyone can become a hero.
Yes, that's the point. Everyone is a hero. Can be, is a hero. Only we are not recognizing the fact. Okay. Yes. This would be the last question, huh?
Last two, Swamiji, if
Yes.
you permit. One question I have is, you mentioned a set of spiritual values that each of one has, and that would be our own
Identity, part of our
identity. And what among the many things that are laid out, we pick what resonates with us, and that would help us grow. Could you clarify more about how do I answer that question? What are my spiritual values? I mean, could you just maybe throw some examples?
Yeah, for example, Yeah, we hear about many spiritual values. For example, one could be humility, but it may not be appealing to all. One can be speak the truth always. That may appeal to you. Okay. Things like that. All of these are spiritual values which will help us in our spiritual journey, but reminding us about our core values which are more to our liking. In the terms of positive psychology, they call it authentic strengths, signature strengths. There are so many values, 24 values they have found out, human beings strive for, 24 virtues. But among them, some of these values are more innate for us. Okay. For example, for me, being honest naturally is innate to me. Okay. Because of my, say, whatever, culture or my the way I grew up, that resonates me. So that is my signature strength. Okay. So I have to remind myself again and again in conflict and in my spiritual journey that yes, I have to sacrifice many things for being honest. Okay. So that my identity as a spiritual seeker, as a sadhaka, based on honesty, that will get highlighted. Okay.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
The second question I had was about allies and mentors. In our spiritual journey, it makes a lot of sense, I think, to have God in a dualistic thought process, to have God as our ally and mentor. And because, I mean, how do we practice having him as an ally and mentor? Because I don't think, whether it is a spiritual or a secular journey, we can't really go about bugging other humans too much. And it's really to our advantage to have God as our ally and mentor. And how do we strengthen that relationship, or really have the strength or the advice or the suggestions actually flowing from God to us? How do we make ourselves recipients of that, and to actually recognize that, to have that relationship in this journey?
True. So we have to take both the supports of our real physical friends as well as support from God as friend. So God as friend is a practice. It is not yet a reality. Okay. So it will be foolish to say I don't want anyone's help, any spiritual friend's help, because I have God as my friend. That is good, but that is a practice. And let with that be real friends. For example, your friends in Vedanta societies with whom your values match and you can talk your challenges, your problems, where you are getting stuck. They can sometimes give illuminating solutions which you never thought of. Okay. So we have to take both the help. From God as friend as well as friend as friend. All right?
Very all right.
Okay. Thank you so much. I shall greet you and meet you there at the back. Okay. And as I said that spiritual goal is abstract. We don't get feedback. But it can be broken down in a way that motivates us. That will be the subject of my next talk. Close your rings. Okay. So come to close your rings.